Hello and welcome to yet another game. It's match 5 of the Tri-Nation, and today an all-important match for both the sides, Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe, to win and qualify for that final, which will be played on the 29th. It's KFC presents Vigo Telmobile Tri-Nation Series here from the Rawalpindi Cricket Stadium. A quick look at the number of games, 7 in total for these Tri-Nation matches, and we are at match 5. Sri Lanka versus Zimbabwe, an all-important game. It will be an absolute decider where these two teams are heading. Quick look at the points table. You see Pakistan have already made it. Zimbabwe and Sri Lanka, we've got, well, 1 game for Zimbabwe, 2 for Sri Lanka in this series. Let's see what they can get out of this. Hello and welcome to the pitch side, and we are going to talk about match 5. As I've been saying, it's an important game for both the sides. What can they do differently today to get those 2 points, especially Sri Lanka? Are they feeling more pressure because they're the side with a reputation and they'll have to play for that because you expect them to perform as to what they're known for? I've got Russell Arnold and Pami Mbangwa alongside me. Good evening, gentlemen. I'll start with you, Russ. An evening where Sri Lanka needs to prove a little more than what they have managed up till now in the Tri-Nation.
A lot more, Sikandar, because I really don't know how to feel about being in this situation. It's a game which is so important. Having to crash out at this stage, it will be unacceptable for the Sri Lankans. The type of cricket they've been playing, they've just not been at the races. Hence, picking themselves up. Each individual has to be special. It's not going to be a tactical game. Individuals have to win this game. So basically at the top of the order, turn it around.
Pami, Zimbabwe knows that they've got them out for 95, but they can't just take it easy because they know the opposition will come hard at them. How do you see them going out tonight?
Yeah, at no point, good evening to both of you, first of all, and to everybody out there. At no point can you take it easy at all. I think for Zimbabwe, it's about processes for each player as they turn up, and you can go through the experienced players and those who are coming back. I'm thinking of Brendan Taylor, Graham Creamer, making sure that they're getting accustomed to the level. But new day, new opportunities, and this pressure is something that you cannot simulate when you practice and you try and get ready for tournaments. So I think it's got to be embraced, and you've got to test yourself in this situation. If they can come through this with so much riding on the game, I think it'll do them a great deal of good going forward in terms of the building blocks that they're trying to put together.
Well, similar situations for the two sides, and we talk about their batting, depending on their top two, both Sri Lanka and Zimbabwe, and then down the order, Lianage and Ryan Burl. They need something from that middle order to get to a respectable total. Now let's find out what the captains decide if they win the toss. It's going to be crucial what they choose to do. We've got Bazid Khan and the two captains out in the middle.
As the temperature continues to drop here in Rawalpindi, two sides will be looking to turn the heat up. It is Zimbabwe versus Sri Lanka in the 5th match of the Tri-Series. Got the two captains ready. Home captain tonight for Sri Lanka, Dasun Shanaka. Zimbabwean captain Sikandar Raza and Rion King to overlook proceedings. You got the coin?
Tails.
Tails called. Tails it is. Just before the toss, team was giving a bit of stick for getting it right. What are you going to do and why?
Yeah, we're going to have a bat first. Look, the temperatures are playing a huge role as well, and I think the temperature keeps on dropping, and looking at the wicket as well. If there is a hint of dew as well, I think it's going to get tackier. So the best chance to score is probably batting first, so that's why we've gone with batting first today. One
of the games you won is batting first, albeit it was on a different surface. This game, this surface was used in the first game. You also got runs on the board. You said it's a better surface. What are you looking at in terms of target?
Yeah, suddenly it looks like a better surface. I thought that day was slightly tackier at the start, and we didn't adjust. That's why we only got to 160 odd, but I think this looks suddenly more like a Pindi wicket as well. But the conditions, you cannot really fight them. So I think this could be a high-scoring game as well, and any team that plays well should be able to chase it or defend it.
You said there would be a little bit of regrouping after that loss against Pakistan. What are the conversations and what do you make out of the improvements you're looking at?
Yeah, certainly the loss hurted us, but I just reminded the boys that do not take the shine of the first 2 games, how well we've gone about our business. It's the mind plays tricks on you, and you can be caught in that game that we have lost. Rather remind yourself the good things we have done rather than be stuck up on this game. Learn the lessons from this game and try and remember all the good things from the first 2 games as well, and try and merge those two, and hopefully we can come up with a better result today.
And what's the team looking like for tonight?
Yeah, we only got 1 change. We got Dion Myers coming in for Tony Manyunga.
All right then, Sikandar, have a good one.
Thank you, Rish. Thank you.
Dasan, you're bowling first. So how does that go according to your game plan?
See, if I won the toss, I could have anyway bowled first. So we're playing with 7 batsmen today. So yeah.
In terms of your the way the tournament has gone, it hasn't really been proper for you in all 3 departments. What are the particular areas you're looking to brush up in a must-win game today for you?
Of course, all 3 areas, as Rasa mentioned. So it looks like a normal Pindi wicket. So it must be high scoring. So and we know the mistakes we done throughout the tournament. So hopefully we'll go a good game tonight.
And what's the 11 for then tonight?
2 changes: Viyaskant out and Kamindu out. Pawan Ratnayaka making his debut and Mahesh Theekshana back.
All right then, Dasan, have a good one.
Thank you.
Right then, the news from the centre is that Zimbabwe have won the toss and will have a bat first. Now, batting first on this surface, remember, is the first surface only used once in this tri-series. It's Pakistan, Zimbabwe. And I've got the local guru next to me, Bazit Khan. You've had a good look. What do you make of this one?
Yeah, that game was a pitch where the ball didn't really come onto the bat. It was difficult to bat up front, and even throughout the game, it wasn't a pitch where the ball came on. I think more of the same, slightly better prepared, slightly rolled more, so maybe a little more stroke play. Batting first, you set the total. It's been a theme here. Normally, in Pindi, you win the toss and bowl first because the pitch is so good. This is slightly different on the opposite end. Now, a couple of things there. Now, the element that really comes into play is, will there be dew formation? It's been hit and miss. If there's a little bit of dew, then it almost slickens up the pitch and it helps the fast bowlers. If there's more dew, then obviously it goes to the other side. But I think so far we've not seen, apart from one game, that dew's really affected the bowling side as such. But you being a numbers girl, you know how numbers work. At what temperature does dew form?
Well, he's thrown a science question me at a cricket game. I'm going to go ahead with that, leave that one, come back straight to you with my googly to you. Typical batting surface, maybe not. What are you looking for in terms of Zimbabwe getting runs on the board?
You want to build, you can't sort of go into thinking, okay, 180. You've got to think 150, 160. If you really get going, then go to 180, because you've got to give yourself a little bit time, especially in those middle overs. Once the spinners come on, the ball really stops in the surface.
All right, then you've heard from Bazit. Assess, but then try and get big runs for Zimbabwe.
All right, so now we know that Zimbabwe have decided to bat first. I'll straight go to Pommy, and quick one from you. You think the decisions these days from captains is more condition dependent or more based on the strength of their teams?
I think if conditions force you, you heard Sikandar Raza there say you don't want to be fighting the conditions. I think each of the teams as they've turned up here have kind of felt that they want to chase scores, because generally in 2020 cricket, that's how you go. But as the games have gone along, actually it is better to try and put a score on the board, because later on you might have that difficulty starting. It might be a bit tougher because you have runs on the board and you dictate the way that they should play, and it then kind of plays in your favor. But I think it essentially is a question of trying to read the conditions correctly, and the difficulty of that sometimes is why the decision happens.
Quick one from you. I mean, I know, yes, Darshan Chanaka was on the receiving end at the toss, but happy with chasing? You don't want to...
In this situation, Sikandar, for me, it's a good toss to lose, because Sri Lankan heads are muddled. It's not about conditions, it's not about situations, it's about execution. They are just not there, it seems so. Even their best players are not amongst the runs, the confidence seems to be low, the cold seems to be just pushing them into a corner.
And we should say it is very cold.
It is. There's been snow up in the mountains yesterday, and even now we're feeling it. So there are challenges, and hence the least decisions you have to make is the best for Sri Lanka. Just go out there, do what you need to, do what you're told, just do it properly.
All right. Now we know that Zimbabwe won the toss, decided to bat first. Time for a short break. On the other side, we'll have a look at the playing 11. Welcome back to Pitch Side, talking about Match 5, Sri Lanka versus Zimbabwe. And for those who've just joined us, Zimbabwe won the toss and decided to bat first. And with that, we'll have a look at the playing 11, starting, of course, with Zimbabwe, and leave that to Pommy.
Yeah, a change in Zimbabwe's side today. Dion Myers will come into the team. He'll probably be a bit further up than that, actually, if he bats in what is his position, because he's normally a top order player. They would have to juggle things around. Perhaps they feel that it can kind of lengthen things. The dependence, though, will be on the start and that middle order filled with experience. So it's a side that Zimbabwe hopes with the youthfulness and the experience can kind of combine, and under the pressure of today can put a score on the board for those bowlers who by and large have been pretty good through the tournament, actually can go to work and defend a score.
Sri Lanka, a couple of changes. There have been 17 players here. So far, they've tried 15 of them. Mahesh Theekshanna's back into the team. He replaces Viyaskant. And there is a debut for Pavan Ratnayaka, who will come in for Kamindu Mendis. Pavan Ratnayaka made his debut in the ODI series. And the top order, it stays the same. The focus is on the batting. That's where Sri Lanka's strength lies. That's where the experience is. And that's where the difference needs to be made. Nisanka, Kusal Mendis, Mishara, Kusal Pereira.
All right. Talking about a debut, you just mentioned about that big occasion for the young man to be part of the T20 side for Sri Lanka. And lots of expectations, and probably would like to contribute today in this all-important game for Sri Lanka. Now, we've been talking about how Sri Lanka probably have been struggling against Spain, and what did Zimbabwe do well to beat them by 67 runs. We have a small package of the wickets, follow wickets for Sri Lanka. I'd like both of you to look at it. Probably, Palmer, you can look at the lengths and you can look at the shot selection, Russ.
Well, it comes down to the lengths. In the power play, when Sri Lanka lost 4 wickets, 8th over, they were 29 for 4. That good length with the Zimbabwean pacers hit was the crucial point. It was hitting the Sri Lankan batters high on the bat. They couldn't rotate the strike. They couldn't get the runs, and hence they were trying those shots. Lost wickets, the runs didn't come, and they were in a hole. Yes, they haven't played spin well of late, but if you haven't got that early confidence and early movement, chasing 160, you are digging a hole for yourself. It's very important that the new ball bowlers, especially with the height that the Zimbabweans have, hit the deck back of a length and let the batter make the play.
Yeah, no easy deliveries, and the height is critical. And Garava has done it for many years now. He's right at the forefront, and he's missing an even taller guy in Blessing Mzarabani, who is injured, and so he's got a lead from the front. But Maposa as well as Evans have been pretty good. As Russ says, you've got to be back of a length. Sometimes you might kind of be lured into thinking it might swing early on and therefore creep further up. But I think that just eases things for the Sri Lankans if you get them to play a length that's much fuller. You want them to be contending with the bounce, and when they're contending with the bounce from back of a length, then it's foreign to them and it's more difficult for them. And if you can pick up wickets along the way as well, then it makes the work of the spinners that bit easier as you go along, and you can kind of work your plan, so to speak.
They bowled wicket to wicket as well. Hence, there was no width or nothing to pick off. It was not the type of pitch that you can hit through the line. That's where the problem started for Sri Lanka. And you can lose wickets in the power play, but then you got to get yourself to 55, 60 for 3. Then you're moving. But at 29 for 4, you're dead beat.
Let's have a quick chat about the batting sides for both of them, starting with Zimbabwe. Now, you mentioned Dion Myers. Now, that's a bit of a dilemma they have with Bennett, Marumani, Taylor, and Raza. Now, does Raza push himself down? We know that he's been in form. Where does Myers go?
I think essentially, and we spoke about this number in batting and where does who bat. It's not as difficult as that. Essentially, what you've got to decide is who opens your batting, and the two of them walk out there, and they've got to do a certain job, which is to maximize the power play. And who comes in next is about whether you're still in the power play or you're out of the power play. So it's situational, essentially. The guys you want to play the middle of the game are the guys who are best at playing against the spin and can find singles and can bed in some sort of a foundation that then allows for those who bat at the back end. Of course, you want some to carry on to then launch at the end. So it's got to be situational, and roles have to be assigned, and they go in with the flexibility of numbers and so forth when it is their time to bat, and they can play that role.
The options come your way if the openers do their job.
Yeah.
And for Zimbabwe, these two have done really, really well. Two different types of players. I think Bennett is the key. He is not very strong all over, but he knows his game. He likes that offside, he sets himself up, and he'll play to his strength. Whereas Marumani, I think, has got more shots, but still not enough clarity in his head. Because he plays a lots of shots, but doesn't get the runs as he should for the number of shots he plays. So once he figures out himself out,
Just
I
some
think
control. I think some control required.
There'll be a good combination, and then you can do whatever you want with this middle order you're talking about. Move them, use them wherever you want.
So that brings the question, if you come to Sri Lanka side, you know, Pathum Nissanka has been firing all cylinders throughout 25, hasn't really arrived here yet. And Mendes has been run out twice, so that start that you're looking for in that power play is not happening, and thus the pressure on the middle order.
Definitely, and right throughout Sri Lanka's T20 games, you find that the runs are scored at the top of the order. The two Kusals, Pathum Nissanka, the moment they boss the situation, everyone's calmer and things tend to fall in place. Earlier I said it's about people doing their job today. So it's not about coming out there and being clear in roles. Each person needs to be clear about himself. Nissanka, Kusal Mendes, Kusal Pereira, one of them needs to get an 80-90. Then everyone's calm around them. And suddenly, if you get to where you want to be, 60% of your problems strangely disappear.
Yeah, it's
that's what Sri Lanka,
yeah.
It's success, and that win just does strange things to you.
Last minute on the show. Now, what do you reckon? That game between Pakistan and Zimbabwe, the starting game was on that pitch. As a side batting first, you're going to need to keep something from that game, how it played, and then what kind of score you feel will be able to defend.
No, I don't think so. I think each time you come out, yes, you've got these historical facts that are told to you, but you've got to assess on the day. And you will know within sort of an over or two, an over from seamers, an over from spinners, what's going on the surface. And also sometimes it's about how a batter feels and how he's going. So the game will dictate in terms of conditions, just don't fight them.
Different day, different game, Sikandar.
Okay, it's a different game, it's a different day. But we hope, I'm pretty sure that they'll be looking at something in the excess of 150 plus at least. Anyhow, hope you've enjoyed our start to this match 5, and we're now getting into live action very, very soon. Do enjoy it.